The bullying started when I was about 9 years old. I was in grade 4. It started out with the boys in my class picking on me for my weight, which eventually kind of triggered the girls and my friends who were in my class to start picking on me as well.
I started getting bullied by 2 girls. It was like a constant harassment.
When I recall finding out what bullying was first grade, and that was the first time that I was ever called fat.
I've been bullied since about grade 4. It just started out as not being included in anything, people not talking to me, and then they started getting really mean in the things they said towards me.
I was generally not bullied until last year. People were threatening to beat me up, and that was pretty scary for me.
It's something that needs to be addressed because it's like addressing the elephant in the room. Like, people don't want to talk about it. Well, you see all these like TV specials and all these, wear pink, anti-bullying day sort of thing. But I mean, actions speak louder than words.
So it'd be good for teachers and parents to start talking about it more openly to their students and their kids, hey? My name is Laura, and I just turned 25 years old. I really enjoy Bikram yoga.
I am Phelan Glenn. I'm 15 years old. I enjoy reading and listening to music.
My name is Rihanna, and I'm in grade 12. I don't know, I just like being with people.
I'm Sarah. I'm in grade 10. And honestly, right now, I'm studying opera.
My name is Paula Forner. I'm 15 years old. I'm in grade 10. And I like drama and art.
It's extremely hard for parents to take in the fact their kid's getting bullied.
Yeah.
Mostly every parent thinks their kid is perfect. And then, why is my kid getting bullied? And then I think it's really hard for parents to listen to their kids saying, you're not doing a very good job. Like most parents, I understand you're doing your very best, but it might not be the very best for me. Maybe if parents don't listen to their kids, they'll listen to this. Or they'll listen to somebody else's kid.
It wasn't easy to talk to my parents about what was going on. First of all, because one of the big things that I really found was there were kids who were being bullied worse than I was, especially the boys in my grade. It was physical and it was outright and you could see it happening, whereas the bullying that I received, it wasn't always obvious, which made me think at a young age that if I'm not being pushed around and I'm not being harassed, then I'm not really being bullied.
When bullying first started happening for me, I just wanted to see if the problem would go away or try and take care of it myself.
I didn't really think about telling my parents at first because it wasn't that big of a deal. No one was pushing me, and I thought I was stronger and I could do it myself. And in the beginning, I could do it myself as well. I thought they would do more damage than good, just having your parents go talk to kids or the teachers.
I guess I just think of, because I know my mother so well, that I'll know what her reaction is to a certain thing. So it's like I think about that scenario in my head and what I tell her or how I'll word it. And if there's no way to word it without her getting freaked out about it, I usually don't tell her until things have calmed down or something, or I won't tell her at all. Oh my God, when my mother sees this, she's gonna kill me for saying that.
It's tough because when you're a kid, you don't want to get your friends in trouble. You don't want to get other people in trouble. So I think was a big reason as to why I didn't say anything about the kids that were bugging me or that were making fun of me.
Sometimes it's easy to talk to my parents about being bullied, and sometimes it's not. It depends how bad it is because I know they always want to do something, and sometimes I can do it my own.
One of the things that my mom did, which really weighed on my conscience and really made me not want to speak to her, was that she would guilt me. So when she asked me a question and I didn't want to answer it, she would cry, or she'd try and delve more into the situation, and that was what made me want to run.
I don't like the word bully or victim or bystander because if you tell someone they're a bully, they'll start thinking, I'm just a bully. They'll be the bully. And a victim gives me the impression of helplessness, so they think I can't stand up for myself. Yeah. And a bystander, it's so hard to be the person that's like, I'm gonna do something.
If I've exhausted every measure and I've tried to resolve the situation to no avail, I can go to my mom.
The point where I know I can't do it on my own is the point where I feel like I want to give up, or the time when I just don't want to do it anymore, or I don't want to go to school and I just don't want to be around people. It's pretty much the decision point to when I need to tell my parents.
I guess there's just this one point where I just got really tired of trying to take care of the problem myself because it had just worn me down so much. I decided that I really needed my mother's help because I knew she'd be able to help me push through it.
I usually don't have a deciding point of, okay, now it's a good time to talk to my parents. It just kind of happens, or when I think they're not doing anything. So for my dad, it would be while he's cooking dinner, and for my mom, it would be when she's not watching Ellen.
I actually brought it up to her with a friend. So it was my best friend and I who were in the same group. We were on a family trip, actually. We went to the Okanagan, and we're talking in the car, and my mom overheard us and what we were saying and started to ask questions. Being in the car, it was a really light situation. We were driving somewhere fun. We were going on a vacation. I was in a really safe environment. It wasn't like an interrogation or comes and sits in my bed and we have the awkward conversation. And it was easy to have the friend there as well to kind of banter off each other.
When the situation gets harder for me to handle and I don't know what to do and I need opinions, then I feel that's the time to talk to my mom.
That was really important for me, is that I just knew that they were there. And I knew that if I had something that I absolutely needed to talk about, they learned not to push, and they learned to say, hey, I know that you don't want to talk to me, or I know that maybe we're not on the greatest terms right now, but we need to get you to talk to somebody else.
Parents, support your kids, let them know that you're there for them, but give them the space they need because they're going to be able to sort it out themselves. They know what's best for them.
My mother's reaction when I told her about me being bullied was shock and hurt because I hadn't told her till that time, and even though I'd been going on for so long, and shock because she couldn't believe that it was happening to her own daughter.
There's been times before that she's phoned the school and gotten quite upset that they're condoning this bullying, that things aren't being done and measures aren't being taken to oppose it.
I told them and it didn't go as well as I thought it would. They decided to overreact, in my opinion. They wanted to call the police. And I did not feel comfortable with that because it was just a threat. I didn't think anything was going to happen, but I thought it was time to tell them, and they wanted to call the police. They wanted to call my friend's foster mom. They wanted to call the principal. They wanted to get this girl suspended. I was just too overwhelmed. I didn't want that to happen.
If she had gone into full-out mother looking after her cub situation, there would have been hell at my school.
I'm not going to say without fault that there haven't been a couple times where, regardless of what she said, I haven't felt a bit embarrassed just by how, I guess, blunt she is with what she says to them sometimes. But it's coming from a place of them trying to protect their child, so you learn to get over the embarrassment.
I would come home and I would be upset, and it was, well, these girls made fun of me, or the boy made fun of me, and again, it was the same sort of thing in terms of, well, maybe the boy likes you, or, well, you don't want to be friends with those girls. It wasn't, well, there's a problem. It was more, this is normal life, this is what's going to happen, tough it up. So after a while, I stopped trying to tell people what was going on, and so it left me feeling really alone, and almost like I kind of deserved to be in this situation.
When I was in grade 4 up till about grade 7, I usually just come home crying. I asked them every day, can I leave the school? It's not good, nobody likes me, everyone's mean to me, and they'd say, no, it's building values or morals, or it's good for you, or it'll get better. And it kind of just hurt that they just wouldn't listen to me or give me a chance. I know I was young, and usually I can't decide life-changing moments for me, but that was something I knew. I knew it right.
When my mom found out, she would talk kind of badly about the bullies, and it made me feel really awkward. Like I didn't want the attention to be focused on my bullies, but rather me and kind of how special I was as opposed to what the bullies were doing to me. But it kind of sent me the wrong message. Oh, well, they're just bad people, and it didn't really teach me how to deal with the bullying.
I think the biggest thing for parents or friends or anybody to do for anyone that's sad or depressed or angry or anything, even not talking about bullying, just anything that someone carries that brings them down, is to listen. Don't always intervene. Don't do what you think is best, because who's going to know what's best for a person but that individual person? Because I know what works for me, and I've done trial and error to figure out what works for me. But the thing that made me the worst all the time was when I said something to my parents and they did what they want. Because parents always feel like they're going to be your knight in shining armor and save the day. No, you're not. Like, stop it. Get off the horse, take off the armor.
We need to go through these things to get stronger. And we do. We come out stronger ultimately in the end. But I think we can be even stronger if our parents are there saying, I need to let you go through this. I know that somebody's listening and I can relate to this both from when I was younger and now, is when people start asking me questions and showing genuine interest and wanting to know details. It wasn't just assuming, because my mom used to do that a lot. She would just assume she knew what I was going through, and she would assume that she knew how to help, and it wasn't always that I wanted her to fix it. I wanted her to listen, and I wanted her to understand it.
It's kind of hard to tell when someone's listening to you, but sometimes how I tell is when you ask them to do something. For example, just listen, don't talk, and please don't tell me your life story. Or when they look at you and they nod, or just little things that just make it seem like they know what's going on, or they want to say something because they're actually listening, but they hold it.
Sometimes listening to a story, a person will form an opinion without hearing the full extent to the end of the story, so they don't know exactly the circumstances which are being told to them. So sometimes it's best to wait out and actually listen to something be recounted to you in its full detail before you make an opinion.
I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but in high school I didn't feel that anybody really prepared me for life after high school, and they didn't necessarily teach me the skills on how to cope with bullying or how to deal with a bully or how to, deal with stress. I don't really feel like I was taught those skills, because they are skills.
You're gonna have those days where you just feel really kind of bad inside, or like the sadness, the emptiness, but there's always a way to kind of combat that. You gotta know that you have someone to talk to and a way to maybe express your feelings, and that can help you deal with all the different types of bullying that there is.
And for parents, ask them, when you get frustrated, what do you do? You know that you don't have to hurt yourself to make yourself feel better. If they enjoy listening to loud music and dancing around their room to get rid of bad emotions, let them do it. Don't tell them, oh, you should probably do it this way instead, right? I guess, just watch them or ask them, what do you do when you want to let loose on your emotions?
It depends on the situation. If I'm feeling upset or depressed about something that happened at school and it's just tiny, and I kind of think about, well, what's gonna matter in 3 months' time? And then sometimes if it's constant bullying, I scream into a pillow.
In the bullying situation, I try and keep myself calm. I guess I sort of just watched my mother do it and I self-taught myself, what I need to keep calm at, what I don't, and I've gotten better at keeping calm.
I definitely started drinking excessively and doing drugs because of trying just to get away from everything. So that was part of my rebellious stage as well. I ran away. I would lock myself up in my house. I would go to my friend's house. I would avoid her at all costs. A big one was trying to pick fights with her, so trying to get myself into trouble so that she would just yell at me and that I could leave.
When things don't go my way in school or someone says something that bothers me, I usually take a really long time coming home from school. And then when I get home, I try to avoid my mom or say, oh, I have to go do homework, or can I go sit in my room, or something that just kind of distanced me from everyone that's in the house. I know for me that I need distance. I need to calm down or even assess the situation, because a lot of times things make me angry, and whoever is talking to me or bringing it up, I will take it out on even if they have nothing to do with it, and that makes me feel bad later.
I never learned how to really deal with the bullying other than getting parents involved or teachers, how, inside, what do I do with the feelings that I'm going through, and, the self-defeat and the destruction and the worthlessness and the hopelessness, and thinking that the bullying's never going to stop, or that I'm not good enough, and I was never taught how to handle those emotions.
I've been raised in a household with a lot of love and a lot of affection and lots of hugs and, just always being told that I was loved. And it really helped me when I have gone through my problems of school, because I just always felt like I've had my mom to go to.
I love my parents more than ever, and we have a fantastic relationship now, but it's because they let me grow and they let me have the opportunity to grow on my own. And I think that's really important for parents to know, is that your child's going to go through these different things, but as long as you stick by them, you're all going to come out on top.
Friends and boyfriends, and they all come and go, and everyone knows the saying, but your family's always there for you, and that's what matters.
Sometimes it's like you've had a really bad day and you forget that when you come home, like the people that are giving you dinner and everything and asking you questions, they're not like asking you questions and
for themselves.
They're asking you because they love you, and just like remind your kid that you love them, because sometimes that might just be all they need to feel better.
Now my relationship with my parents is more, they're still my parents, I still respect them, and they still have a lot of rules, but we are almost on more of a friendship level, but a healthy friendship level, because I know what bugs my mom, she knows what bugs me, and for the most part, she doesn't step on my toes, but she still does because she's my mom and that's her job. And my dad listens to me more, and he shows that he's listening to me more, and I actually spend time with my parents.
What's most important in a relationship is trust, and to tell them that I trust you and I want you to trust me, and that's the most basic thing in a relationship that I think is the most important as well.
Your kid is another person in the world, and you've got to, just like you would get to know any person, you have to know who your child is, and you have to know their mannerisms and their thoughts and how they think about things and how they feel about things before you can make an accurate assessment of their desires and their thoughts.
Something that I would have preferred was, my mom gossiped a lot about the bullies that were in my life, and she would tell her friends and she would talk badly about the bullies. And when I talked about having sort of being a team, my parents and myself, that team can involve so many different people. It can involve the counselor that was really, really helping me out. It could involve the principal, maybe teachers that I feel close with. It's not about going to point of authority, but to somebody that I feel comfortable with and that I don't mind talking to. Tell somebody, but tell the right people.
I'd say for advice for more so adults about anyone that's being bullied is listen and hear. We need help, we as in children and teenagers, but we don't need someone to do it for us. And yes, we don't always have the answers, but when we do have an answer, sometimes give us the chance to see if we were right, because then the parent and the teen will build more trust, or the parent and the child, and there'll be more communication.
It's not always having to fix things. It's not always a solution. It's just being there. And I want parents to know that you don't always have to be the superhero that fixes the world and stuff. Just sit and listen. I think that's the most important thing. You have to let them come to you on their own if they really need you. If they think they need this parent rather than that parent, then it's got to be that way. You can't force it on them.
I don't always think that whole thing, that, parents know their children better than they know themselves. I don't quite believe that. But I also think there are some times that kids hold out from their parents. Like if a parent says, do you want me to go to the school and talk about this? And the kid might say no, and in reality, in their heart, they do want them to.
My biggest recommendation to parents is be a good role model for your kids by really taking care of yourself first, because that will feed on to your children.
When you're having that quality time with your kid, and not to put it into a serious mood, but to just casually ask them, be like, are things okay at school? Like, are you getting along with your friends? Is anyone threatening you or anything? And if they're not, just let it be. Just don't keep pushing them.
I think that had she, or my dad as well, been in the beginning, been like, you know what, this is what I want you to say to yourself when bullying happens. This is what I want you to think about. These are some strategies you can use. I think it could have made a world of a difference.
For parents, you always just need to be there for your kid. Even if there's nothing you can do and they don't want you to do anything, they're probably going to need you in the future, and you can't make it seem like you're not going to be there.